in Goolwa in South Australia, a beautiful beach, you can get these little, I think they're a type of shellfish. And I realized the most important thing I can do is to create as many first experiences I can with my family as possible. Because in creating first experiences, it's going to give me clues as to what my child likes, what they don't like, what they're drawn to, what they're not drawn to. So we try to create as many different first experiences as possible. And through doing this, to me, it's so clear that my son loves the outdoors. There's a deep love for it. It's so clear. And then it's like, oh, okay, so outdoors. Okay, so what kind of outdoors things can we do? So we tried to find first experiences where we, obviously I do love camping myself. So we tried it with my son and he loves it too. So it's just continually exploring, okay, well, what types of camping can we do? What types of different places can we go camping? How many different types of outdoor activities are there? What types of outdoor activities can we find? So to me, it's just about, let's get really curious and do as many different first experiences as possible, and then try to hone in on some of the things that you really like.
And so this is a challenge which I face, at least in conceptual realm of parenting, is there's this one part of, yes, let's find out what they really like and let's encourage them to do it, and let's encourage them to explore other things and find out what they like and keep doing it. Awesome.
Yeah.
And the other part is, if they don't also do a lot of the things which they really don't like, then they're going to be stunted in their growth.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have to work at your parents' shop and work at petrol kiosk and do that stuff which you really hated, then I think you said before, like you wouldn't have had the work ethic to push through and gain or get to the level which you're at today with doing what you love. So how are you balancing that?
Well, my wife is very strict. So while I'm like, hey, let's explore stuff, my wife's very strict. So he's got a lot of things that he does at home that he has to. So it's good because I guess my wife being born in Malaysia, she is a bit of that tiger mom. She is pretty strict. So that he does a lot of things that he doesn't want to do. And I don't think he gets that balance because he has us as parents. Whereas that's my wife likes being the one that brings the rules, right? And I think I need that as well. That's why I love her, right? It's that she does bring those rules, but she also gives me the freedom to explore with Xander, right? I'm the parent. Well, if he loves to play with slime, let him play with slime. Let's play. Let's make a big mess. Who cares? We'll clean it up after, right? But she's the one that ensures that he cleans it up after, right? So I think it's a healthy balance because I do have my wife and she's great at that.
So how else is your role as a husband and a father, and perhaps the contributing roles of your wife and your son into your life, impacted and influenced your career and your other decisions and your overall brand and just your enjoyment of life? How's family life impacted all the other areas?
Wow, okay. How has family life impacted all the other areas of my life? Well,
yeah.
Family life's made me realize that something my wife said to me when I was in the US. When I lived in Southern California, I lived there 2017, 18, 19, 20. And when I was living over there, I was on the road and I wasn't a good father. I wasn't a good family man for many of those years. I only got better towards the end of those years. But I remember her saying to me that, because I was away doing like 90 events a year, 200 days on the road. And I gotta say, my wife is very tolerant. And I remember one time she said to me, you work so hard to provide for us this beautiful home, this beautiful garden, metaphorically, but you're not in it. And that was a lesson that taught me to reflect on, well, why am I working? Why am I working? What for? It's kind of like you did with your client. Why, right? It's why are you doing it? And first of all, to me, was to create abundance. And then second of all was, for the family. Quick knee-jerk reactions. And also they don't have to worry about money. But I didn't do enough clarity. I didn't do enough digging into myself as to why I was working so hard. And my family made me realize that, well, the reason I was working was to actually build this beautiful environment to actually live in with my family. And I got so drunk in the making of the money and investments and just more and more and more and more and more and more that I'd forgotten that I wanted to actually be in this home and this garden that I've built. So I'd lost track of that. So I think my big words now that I kind of have in front of me in my office is I want to be more intentional. I want to be more deliberate, and I want to be more strategic about what I do. So when I take on a job, for example, I've got a client in June that is an event in Berlin where I'm running a couple of days for them. Well, I want to take my wife. I want to take my son. It's a condition. I got to take them. So it's got to be more intentional, more deliberate, more strategic, more aligned. So things have to serve the greater purpose. It can't just be doing things blindly. So family's just made me think more intentionally about what I do. It's not, oh, I'll take that gig, but it's 5 weeks away from my family. It's more, well, how can I be more intentional about it? How can I live while I work as opposed to just work? So I think that's a big lesson for me, is how to live on the way, not just suffer and sacrifice and then live. It's how do you live on the way?
Do you have a process to make that happen, or is it just a continuous question that you keep asking yourself?
It's a discussion with my wife each time I take on board a big project. Because to me, it's, well, how can I do both? Like I always, again, go back to that negotiation, right? I believe you can have both. It's just how.